that thing. The fan site. He said, I'm sure if you keep attacking developers and calling them con artists, then you go right to the top of the queue. There you go.
I still have some of your stuff since the last time you rage quit on me. It reminds me of all the good times we had.
Maybe I just didn't shoot you enough.
Maybe you wanted to shoot me more instead.
What are you talking about?
Flying without you is more than I can bear. Keep looking over my shoulder, hoping to see you there. Come fly with us, won't you lend a helping hand? Come fly with us, let the good times never end. In the skies, there is fire in our eyes. Dare to dream as we gaze upon the stars. Every miner longs for eyes, like a burger needs its fries.
Friendship never dies, the world is done.
Flying without you is more than I can bear. Keep looking over my shoulder, hoping to see you there. No one scans me down and blows me up like you do. Burns right through the armor of my heart.
Our hosts collide and everything goes pew-pew.
Let us all unite so we can tear each other apart. Come fly with us, won't you lend a helping hand? Come fly with us, let the good times never end. Lock in under and fly with us and die with us, my friend. Come fly with us, won't you lend a helping hand? Come fly with us, let the good times never end. Lock in under and fly with us and die with us, my friend.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Mind Clash Podcast, episode number 34.
Is it 34? Is that really messed? Yeah, it is 34. Look at that.
The numbers gain every week.
It's true. I've heard that rumor. It's like called chronological or something.
True story. I am Meredith, one of your co-hosts here.
No, I prefer to not put labels on things. I prefer to think of us as co-people.
Co-people?
Just living together in harmony.
You're so progressive.
That's it's a very progressive thing. Anyways, yeah, I am Kel Decadence, and tonight we've got a pretty special guest tonight. That would be CCP Snowed In.
Hello, hello.
It's like a Canadian party or something.
I mean, I was thinking about fully taking over the full show with just people from the Vancouver meetup, but
I'm out of here.
It's a good idea. I'm trying to start CCP Vancouver as well, so
I know somebody who's looking for work.
I think I might know that same person.
So yes, indeed, you do. We have CCP Snowden on here. Unfortunately, we're going to have a few other guests, but the topic of the evening for the Mind Clash podcast is going to be what's known as the ESI, otherwise known as the Eve Swagger interface, for those of you that are in the know. But first, let's get some introductions out of the way. I think people know me, and people know Mehrdad. So, CCP Snowden, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I primarily work on ESI. Also, I like to pronounce it as Easy. You'll hear me sometimes call it ESI, sometimes call it Easy. That's mostly what I'm doing now. I designed and did most of the core of that project. Working mostly on like performance and reliability stuff right now. But I also do other things. That's not my only thing that I do. Do some stuff in the build chain for CCP, maintain the PyPy server, some tooling around that, some TeamCity stuff. Do a lot of stuff with Kubernetes, which is pretty interesting, and Google Cloud. We have a lot of things on that, including like the focus group logs, character stats, and just other random Python questions and code reviews, unsolicited advice, things like that.
That sounds like a lot of technical stuff that I don't know a whole lot about.
Yeah, like I'm on Team TechCo, so we're kind of like we get like consulted on random things sometimes. We're kind of got our fingers in a lot of different pots. So some of that is R&D, some of that's experimenting, some of that's like looking at new stuff as it comes up. We get to play around with new toys and shiny things, so it's fun.
Nice. All right, cool. Mehrdad, I don't know if, since we do have a special guest here tonight, if we want to just go straight into talking to him about all his fun adventures with CCP, or if we want to just do our normal stuff with the news and some battle reports first.
I guarantee you he's just as bad at spaceships as the rest of us, so we could always talk about spaceships.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to start up with some Eve news. Really not much has come out of CCP, like as far as DevBlog goes, except for the economic report for the month of March. So if you like crunching numbers and doing all that kind of fun stuff, I guess you can look at all the graph porn.
Sorry, I have just messed this video up, and I'm trying to fix it.
All right, Mehrdad is fired. Snowden, would you like to be a co-host for a podcast, world-renowned?
Yeah, let me just clear my schedule.
Are we still pushing live?
We are still live. I've just messed up your video box, and I'm fixing it.
Nobody needs to see me anyways. I'm not even wearing my hat. So anyways, as he's doing that, the other cool thing, if you happen to be a pilot of Sisters of Eve ships, that would be the Astero, the Stratios, and the Nestor, you can now find yourself a blue skin in the form of the blue cell skin. I don't know what that means, besides it's blue, like a dark blue, bluish black color, which is pretty neato. I'll also link that. And there's been a few stories, in-game stories from the ISD correspondence about the Kianoki cleanup efforts. So I guess there's a lot of bodies that have been distributed about New Eden that need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, the blue cell skin looks pretty sweet. I saw Mark726 post a picture on Twitter about his new Stratios fitting one out.
Yeah, I mean, is that like, as far as lore, is like blue cell, is that like a thing in SOE?
I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I'm sure if we had Ashtarothi on here, he could probably tell us just a lot about it.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all the Eve news that I picked up from reading the dev blogs and around about the Twitter sphere. I don't know. Anything else?
Speaking of Kenoki, yeah, everyone got their Kenoki Inquest medallions from the Shiptoasting Adventure and FanFest.
Wait, what did they get?
There was this like little mini game thing that we run. We did it the last 2 FanFests in a row. We just like released like a little tech demo thing, and this year we tied it in with the medal system and the Kenoki event. So if you toasted a ship on ship toasting, you get a medal and it shows up in game. Those have all been
Nice.
distributed now. You can't get them anymore, but
Nice.
I toasted some people.
nice.
Cool. So yeah, that's about it for the Eve news. And then we have there's a lot of interesting player news. I'm not going to cover it all because, Reddit is the devil, but it seems to be where I'm picking up most of my news these days. That's horrible. For those of you who don't know, when was it for? I don't want to misquote this. The third anniversary of the death of John Bellicose. You might recognize him because you might recognize the name of Mom Bellicose from Twitter. But Brave and a bunch of other people are going to be doing a roam on the 29th. That would be, let's see, that is Saturday. So Saturday the 29th, you can go ahead and find a roam. I'll link that info in chat and I will share it later. I pretty much shared it around Twitter and everywhere else, but yeah, you can do that. It's going to be just a NPSI roam. They're going to have NPSI, plus we're going to have Sino lighting as like a vigil. They're going to do it for a whole 24 hours. So that's going to be a pretty neato thing. And link. I feel like I'm doing so much talking here. Let's see, North Shore Meetup. So one of the guys over from, what do you call them? Dingleberries Wingspan. He posted something on Reddit about missing Salem, Massachusetts meetup. So he wants to start up a North Shore meetup. So he's got a link on there if anybody's interested in that area. I guess that's somewhere. Oh, BitBar. Oh, they got a BitBar in Salem. Nice. We have a BitBar here.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about real life meetups other than the ones we've gone to, but you should always take a chance to go out to these real life meetups and meet up with your fellow Eve nerds. I mean, I'm sure your coworkers are not interested in hearing about the intricacies of your mining drone specialization 5, but
yeah, like, so I had mine last year that I hosted here in Fort Hood Clean Area, and I've just been a horrible person and kind of put it off and saying, oh, I'll put it up later. But that was last year in May, and I don't know if you know that, but May is coming up here pretty quickly. So if I'm going to do another one, I should probably post something about it. I'm going to do it right now. I promise. I'm going to put up the link. We're going to do another second annual Fort Hood area meetup at the BitBar. Date to be determined.
Carpe diem.
Putting it up.
Yeah, our monthly meetup in Vancouver is real good. We get 5 to 15 people typically, and we don't advertise very hard. It's just like the regular people who know it's monthly, and it's always a good time. I mean, last month we didn't even talk about Eve all that much. We just talked about real life stuff mostly, other games, work, how work sucks.
Wait, what? Oh, how work sucks. Okay.
Yeah, work sucks.
I thought you said we talk about work sex, which would have been like something, I don't know, completely different.
That would have been a spicy topic.
Yes. Like it's spicy. Anyways, where were we? Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, if you happen to have been craving and itching for some of the player presentations that you didn't get to see live from FanFest because they didn't stream them live, but they did record them, you can start finding that stuff on CCP's YouTube page. So I was watching one of them earlier, which was the lowering the barriers to PvP, and then I started watching the one by one of our guests last week, which is the parallels of martial arts and Eve Online. So those are up.
Yeah, I gotta check those out. I watched most of them on the video on demand from Twitch, but this is a nice, easy, bite-sized. Oh, wait, no, I watched the closing ceremonies. I lie. I did watch the closing ceremonies.
What a liar.
Yep. Got to sit there and be jealous of Manic Velocity owning the stage.
Yeah, him and Reload, who everyone apparently thinks Reload won CSM because they don't know the difference between Railroad and Reload.
I mean, maybe they could stunt double in, you know?
Hey, congratulations, Reload. You deserve that one, buddy.
No memes required.
All right. Another thing which is kind of near and dear to my heart, kind of going into not really battle reports ish. So I'm part of Entropy of Annihilation, which is part of Legion of Mortem, which is part of FCON proper, greater whole. I don't know. So part of FCON technically. Apparently, there's some weird stuff that happened. I believe it was earlier this morning, or maybe last night, where some goons were in there and they were shit talking in local, and then escalated rather quickly. Next thing you know, someone's trading a Fortizar over to the goons because he's disgruntled. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused.
You're confused who the goons are? See, the goons are people. They live in
Right.
Delph.
Right.
They would like you to come join them.
One of us. Got
I
it.
hear they're getting new incursions sometime soon.
They are. And in order to do those incursions, you should probably take your super. And you should probably bring it down to goons when you join. But you should always check before you join that you haven't paid a bunch of ISK to join, and that on the other side of the Sino where you're jumping your super to, it's not full of goon titans ready to kill you.
Right. Yeah, that did happen on Friday night. We did try to hot drop into Goon Space, but apparently they had more bigger ships than we did, and that didn't quite work out on our end. However, I will say that a lot of the PL incursions from PL land into Amencia have been going quite swimmingly, and I'd like to thank my FC Xbot for really holding that down. Like, we did a lot of damage on some guys over the weekend, including some kill reports that I got on. What's up?
I did see that. You're legit.
Take that. I'm a legitimate PvPer now, I think.
I was making fun of the Bastard Cartel, actually, who recruitment scammed in one of their supers into goons, and they promptly killed it. Don't want that Nyx anyways.
Oh, yeah. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, Iron Armada does not like the Bastard Cartel very much. We had a great many laughs about their losses. Regardless,
Okay, you wanna keep going with that? I'm gonna follow my word. I'm doing the Eve meet right now. I'm typing it.
oh geez, multitasking.
I have notes.
The Anger Games. I don't know what this is.
I don't really know what it is either, but apparently it's newsworthy. It's something about kind of like a tournament, goon tournament type of thing. I thought it might be newsworthy.
Is this like a Titanomachy or like what was that event they ran last year where you could just run around and jump in ships and?
Yes, it was something.
Pinata Boss. Is that the one you're talking about? Where they love that
No.
thing?
You were pretty close at the words. Something a Maki to. I'm not good with words, but no, it's kind of like just like an EVNT style tournament, I guess.
Practice for the AT that goons are probably not going to get in for the 15,000th year in the row. Uh-oh. The crowd's getting antsy.
Yeah, I just saw that. Something about ESI or something. I don't know.
All right, let's give the people what they want.
Yes, that actually concludes our news. I'm sorry for trying to enlighten everyone.
But I had 15 fits of the porpoise that I wanted to cover. On porpoise.
Anyway, so like we've been saying, we have CCP Snowden, who is here to talk about ESI, otherwise known as the Eve Swagger interface. Just a quick rundown of what it is. Eve Swagger interface is that thing that powers, it's the API in between Eve, New Eden, and all your little apps and programs and all that fun stuff. So if you're using the Eve Online mobile app, or if you're using Z Killboard and all that fun stuff, that's what it's going through. But I don't really know much about it, so maybe CCP Snowden can talk to us about what it is that does all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's basically Crest-ish in that it uses a lot of the same paradigms that Crest uses. So it's fairly easy to transition if your apps are already using Crest to start using Easy. But it's a lot more decoupled from the monolith. So we're running all this stuff in Google Cloud, which allows us to scale a lot better independently. We can do updates anytime we want outside of the update schedule of Eve, which is super, super nice. And like I go into some of the details about the design and stuff during FanFest. We had a presentation there. I hope that that's on YouTube in the next week or so. But and that kind of like walks through like how it's doing what it does. But generally speaking, it's a REST-based API that uses the Swagger specification, which it describes what the endpoints receive and what you can expect to get in return in like a standardized way, which is good for writing applications in a lot of different languages, so we can all agree on a certain set of terms. And yeah, it's very standard compliant. So the goal of this is to make the endpoint a lot more reliable, faster, and just to make development against it a lot more straightforward, taking out some of the arcane knowledge of like the standard, the SDE. Like people talk about downloading the SDE, keeping a copy of that. We want to kind of get rid of some of these things and make things a little bit easier for people to develop applications against Eve.
Nice. So that is a lot of interesting information that I still don't understand, but I believe you.
Yeah, sorry if I start using too many terms or whatever. Just ask me questions or whatever.
Surprisingly, I do know a little bit about that. So basically, it runs off the RESTful interface. It's part of. So it's the RESTful API.
Yeah, it's just like the paradigm of like what REST is kind of. But it's not as RESTful. It's not like Crest that gave you back like full URLs for everything. It's more data driven than that. It's simpler. Like all the interfaces are a lot simpler than Crest. We try not to do duplication of things, but generically speaking, it works the same way as Crest. Like you can use basically the same clients against it if you want, but it's better to use a client that uses the actual Swagger specification and like builds the client interfaces off of that spec, just because like those are already maintained and built by other people. So,
all right. So pretty much like, so what is being ran off of the ESI? We're talking about Z Killboard. We're talking about the Eve app for your Android or your iPhone. We're talking about
there's Eve Who is in there. There's a bunch of other websites that are using it for market stuff. People doing data-driven market things. Eve Prosper is one of those. There's a bunch of alliance tools that are using it. It's really easy to keep tabs on your alliance as far as the character affiliations endpoint can basically tell you your entire corporate list. If you have like simple services that are just based on is this person in this corporation kind of thing.
Yeah. So pretty much when I'm being told by my alliance leaders that I need to go ahead and get onto their alliance website, and I log in with the Eve, authorization, and I use my API key. That's what it's pulling, right?
Yep, that's right.
So I don't have to worry about the FCs stealing my credit card information.
No, and actually, we're to many people's demise taking some of the account information that was in the XML API. We're not transitioning that into ESI. Um, Basically, like stuff like your subscription time and stuff like that. Basically, we want ESI to be character driven, so it's like more rights to the character rather than the account owner. We don't really want any of that interface in this API.
So we have 2 questions from the chat. First one is the development timeline question mark.
Asking for the details of the presentation, or
I don't know. He needs to give more details. Cockroach, please give more details of your question. And Jimmy Roth asks, are contracts coming to ESI?
yeah, contracts will be coming. Everything that's in the XML API will be moving over. Some of that is more straightforward to move. Some of it is a pain in the ass to move, but we will get to all of it in due time. And we will be getting to stuff in the XML API and Crest. Actually, Crest is mostly done, but we'll be getting the stuff that is related to feature parity. We'll be getting that done first. And then like there's a stack of new feature requests in the easy issues repo, which is fine, but we're not really looking at those until parity is achieved. So
Sweet.
Sounds pretty cool. Like, I know a lot of people have been asking for things for the Eve mobile app, and I mean just in general to integrate some things that are in game, out of games. Could you foresee, or do you know? Can you tell us if there's ever going to be chat integration in the app or outside of the game?
potentially,
That's possible, right? Like it's a possibility of the actual system.
yeah, potentially. It's a bit more of a pain in the current system, but there's some rumblings of potentially a newer chat system replacing things. So if that were to happen, integrating with that would be a lot easier. There's some integration with the chat system currently too. There's some of the stuff that the XML had with like getting the membership list and things like that, message of the day.
Yeah, because I can only imagine that you're going to be taking 10, 15-year-old code as far as the chat system goes and trying to move that to something new, right?
Yeah, chat's one of the oldest systems in the game, and it's a bit unique.
Neat.
What about the forums? I know there's been talk about the forums moving to a new system. Does that have anything to do with the ESI, or?
I don't think so very much. We haven't really been in very close contact with that. I think it's an interesting idea, but we would have to work a bit closer with them. I think they were trying to get some more off-the-shelf solutions, which wouldn't really work well with the custom API.
I think literally the only thing that I'd actually want to change with the forums is please make it to where we can view it better on a mobile device. I mean, let's get with it.
I will pass that along.
Jesus, like you gotta like strain and squint your eyes just to read those tiny 2.7 pixel fonts.
I gotta turn my phone sideways, whereas every other. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. Mobile app, Sense Mouse, chat, full integration of forums chat. We talked about that cool stuff.
Yeah, there's been some integration of the mail stuff outside of the mobile app already too. I think Squiz is using it in ZGuildBoard for something. A few other people using it to send notifications for people.
Yeah, I actually haven't used the app very often, and it's actually been a while that I've used it. But it seemed like there was some issues, like especially for like say there was a corporation mail or an alliance mail that went out, and if I replied to it, or if I was trying to specifically reply to one person or replied to all, was that just me because I'm retarded, or was there like something wrong in the beginnings, but now it's better?
I think there was some issues early on with mailing lists. I think those have been cleaned out, but if they haven't, I guess open an issue in easy issues.
Because to be perfectly honest, it could have been absolutely my fault.
No, I think there was something with mailing lists early on.
Ooh.
Or maybe core mails too. Those are kind of the same thing.
Fungus has an interesting question. Can we use the ESI to authenticate Discord login? That'd be weird.
Probably. You wouldn't really be using ESI for that. Well, unless you wanted to tell like what corporation the person was in. Yeah, you could do that.
True.
I think some corps use it as like their out-of-game server instead of Mumble or forums.
Yeah, I think someone built a. I think there's a GitHub project out there for that actually.
Winnis had a question as well. Will there be an endpoint for corps to see which scopes have been accessed and by which IP, but not which key access it?
I think you meant which corps have been accessed, or no scopes? Is that right?
I just read the
I
question.
think I know what this is about. I think this is about a discussion we had earlier on Slack today. Basically, like his argument or his concern is that like because so easy and the authentication with it is it travels with the character. So if you make an application that I don't know takes all of your POS list, your list of POSes and I don't know, or sets the vulnerability times to a super time or something, or does some sort of write action that is a corporate level write action. If you had that, you could technically anyone could do that, but there's a separation between it authenticating to the endpoint and the actual action succeeding. And there's a little bit of confusion right now between, yeah, you can authenticate to an endpoint, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that action succeeds. And some actions that do something do cause some sort of a login game. So I would look for mechanisms there rather than in ESI itself, because ESI doesn't really know the difference between, like it just sends a request to the monolith to do something, and the monolith says, yeah, that worked, or no, that didn't work. But it doesn't really know why that didn't work, and it doesn't really care. It's usually that the character doesn't have the permission. It could be the character is not in the corporation. It could be the character is deleted or whatever. So I think there's some confusion there, but basically actions that change things should be logged, and there should be a method to tell that. But to tie that directly to the SSO, I don't think is really needed.
All right. Guys, if you have more questions, please type them in chat and we'll just relay them.
Yes, please do that. But in the meantime, why don't you tell us a little bit about like who you are? Like, how did you get into Eve and working for CCP? Like, what's your story, man?
I've been in tech for a while. Started out doing network engineering stuff, and then I got I worked for a couple other like financial places and industries I didn't really care for, and then I got into working for a studio of Activision out here in Vancouver, doing their online gaming stuff and writing APIs for them. That went really well, and I really like the gaming industry and just how much more, generally speaking, relaxed it is, except there's like crunch time periods or whatever, but that's fine. Just really grown to like working in the industry, and then I saw that eventually, while we were playing Eve during work there, and we had a little wormhole corporation that we would go and fly around with and shoot people or do whatever during a day, and then I saw one day that there was posting at CCP and just kind of applied in the lark, and that ended up working out. And they've been happy with me being in Canada, which is great. That's worked out really well for my family and home situation here. So, yeah.
Nice. So there's not like an office there in Canada. You just kind of like working at home, doing remote stuff.
Yeah, I was just doing a contracting thing. I started out being a sole proprietorship, and then I started my own corporation here, and we do a little contract dealing. I would like to start CCP Canada, but that's kind of involved.
So you pretty much just sit around at home all day in your underwear, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, can confirm.
Yes.
Living the dream.
Right. That's pretty awesome, man. So I gotta ask, Snowden, obviously that's a play on Edward Snowden, yes?
Yeah, a little bit of the irony of the Canadian situation as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who can't see all the show notes, that I've actually entitled this episode "All Snowed In."
Nice.
Grash Urza from chats asks, there was a poll given out on Twitter about the ESI endpoints to add. Have you gotten back the results from that poll?
Yeah, I do. They're on my desktop, which is on the other side of the room. But yeah, we have, and we're going to probably, I think we're going to go over stuff tomorrow or the day after in the morning. We're going to go through the backlog. Every couple of weeks, we go through a good chunk of the easy issues, maybe not all of them, but a decent sized chunk. And we look at what's been, if there's issues that a lot of people have been like +1 in, then we, take a look at implementing those. If we look at things that line up with what we're doing, so during that time, we'll take a look at the survey results, and then we'll go through like the top 10 or top 20 of those or whatever, and try to prioritize those to get those done as soon as we can.
All right, you have infinite development time. All the issues resolve themselves. You don't have to troubleshoot anything. The bugs are all gone. What do you see yourself working on the next 6 months to a year if you had an open slate of timeline?
That would be so nice. It's so far from reality. Yeah, I don't know. I would start looking into R&D into random stuff. Start like testing various things at crazy loads that aren't really a thing right now, but preparing for any sort of future. I don't know. We get to do really cool stuff all the time, like the Kubernetes stuff. Getting able to play with that, and like we get like the bleedingest of bleeding edge that we get to deal with every day. So I'm pretty satisfied with my daily routine right now.
Sweet.
All right. Before you started working on for CCP, did you actually know about EVE Online? Did you play EVE Online?
Yeah, I started back in like 2009 or 2010, somewhere in there. Yeah, I just played it kind of off and on. Picked it up for like six months or 10 months at a time, and then put it down for a little bit. I really like that you can come back to it and like just leave skills, like put some long, like super long skills in the queue, and then play some other games for a little bit and come back to it, and you're just better than you were. It's great.
Cool. So were you like a dirty nasty pirate or a wormholer?
Yeah, well, kind of. I started my PvP experiences in faction warfare, as you do, I think. Flying shitty frigates around and dying to nearly everything. And then I started flying much higher DPS destroyers, which was amazing. And that's when I started getting actual kills, which was great. Then I moved on from there, went into wormhole space for a while. That's when I started actually flying cruisers and like T3s and stuff. Occasional like big things for home defense or whatever. But
Cool. So when you're not playing EVE and when you're not doing awesome backwards coding for EVE Online, anything else you like to do for fun? Play with snow or whatever?
Yeah, I play some guitars, I play some drums, play some a few console games. I'm playing the new Zelda right now. It's pretty good.
Ooh, yeah, Breath of the Wild. I'm loving that game, man.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculously good.
Did you get it for the Switch?
No, I haven't got one yet. I'm a little bit scared. I'm hoping that there's going to be like a Switch 1.1 or something that comes out.
I'm telling you, man, I went and bought the Switch, not immediately in the first release, but once GameStop got its like third batch, I think it was, I went out and got one, and I love it. I think it's a great little console slash mobile device.
Yeah, like it looks really cool. I think I'm gonna wait for like a bundle or something that comes with the new Mario.
Oh yeah, Christmas time, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Beryl Sanjava asks, any usage stats for the ESI language options?
Language options.
I can drink this beer all night. This is so delicious.
Not too sure what he means by language options, but Easy is doing currently somewhere around 500 or 600 RPS.
Maybe he means like people pulling from different countries. Maybe. I don't.
Oh, like translation stuff? I don't know. I'd have to pull those. I could definitely pull those and let you know.
There you go, Barrel. Pokemon Twitter. You can get those options later.
Yeah. So, speaking of coding, what's your favorite beer?
Ooh.
I
Blue
don't know.
Moon,
I don't know
maybe?
how that. I don't know how that tied together. I have no idea. I just thought I'd segue like that. Blue Moon, really?
Yeah, Shock Top.
I like Blue Moon. I think it's the coriander in there that kind of makes my lips tickle a little bit.
I don't know if I
But
have that problem.
I don't know, probably not. I'm totally jealous of you guys up in Canada. You can brew so much more beer than I can. It's so rude.
Well, come visit someday, and we'll take you on a brewery tour.
We should probably just not want to leave. I guess
That happens a lot.
I can still get it, and I can get out of the military now, right? That's a thing, or no? Is it
No comment.
okay? So anyways, most important question that I have for you, and I don't know if anybody else thinking this. I've heard, I don't know, that CCP's favorite podcast is the Mind Clash podcast. Can you confirm or deny this rumor? I'll take this as a
Weird,
yes.
neutral on this, I think. No political stance.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, you can take it as a yes.
No, they probably hate me. I don't blame them.
No, we can't play favorites, right?
No, of course not.
You're my favorite, Kale. Don't worry.
Hey. All right, where are we?
Well, anybody else have any questions? Quickly get them in on chat, and we'll answer them here. I'd like to cover my fail of the week from our amazing action out in Cloud Ring, or Content Ring, as you might call it. We went for a good old roam and caused some timer issues. We were running some Itosis links on their stuff. We were attacking Sarkos Federation, and they didn't form up to defend against us. We had about 20 guys, and they didn't want to fight us. So they just hung out and kind of tried to counter our Intosises, and we eventually just won the timer. Little to no resistance. High ADM, took a while. And just as we're about to pack up, the rear scout notes that a Cyno's gone up. Gotta check that Cyno. Runs back to the station where the Cyno is, and there's a carrier lighting the Cyno. Thanatos at 0, Cyno up. Well, shit, let's go back and kill it. But it's gotta be bait, right?
Gotta be bait.
Has to be bait. We're in Cinnables. They're kind of alpha and run. This is a Thanatos. His fighters are going to rip us up, but it's got to be bait, right? Well, it wasn't bait. He recalled his fighters that were off chasing our rear scout at like 300 kilometers. Recalled them to his carrier and then docked them. Didn't relaunch them. Proceeded to bleed through structure. Then realized that his capital shield booster was off and turned that on. And then brought in a Nyazu to maybe save him, although he was already in deep structure. Nope. Nyazu wasn't ballsy enough to go triage and try to save him. So, yeah, rip carrier. Always Cyno on your station undock when you have no reinforcements. And the enemy fleet is literally next door.
You know, there's free rookie ships. Like,
I know, right? Dr. Eve, or Jurius, asks, what is your favorite thing the ESI has enabled, which was not previously possible under the XML/Crest?
I guess mail, but I think the server endpoint's better because like returning the actual run-in version allows for very intelligent applications. Like you can check things that only change during a patch and stuff like that. But I think just generally just how much more clean it is. Like when you deal with it from like a developer's point of view, you're not really like wondering most of the times anyways, you're not really wondering like what this thing is. It's kind of explained. Like we're trying not to expose things like bare IDs that have a meaning to something else. Be a good example of that, like things that are typed, for instance, on things. Anyways, just trying to make it a lot cleaner and more like straightforward. Just developing against it is just so much more. Like you don't have to have this arcane knowledge of like going to a website of like third-party docs and like reading all these things. You can just build a client and then you can work with that client and you can kind of browse the documentation as you use it.
Sweet. Jimmy Roth asks, what's the approximate traffic volume outbound from the ESI in a bandwidth?
Roughly like a couple megs a second or so. Internally, it's a lot higher, but we do compression externally. I know that Markets is the big user of that. It can internally, before compression, get up to things about like 10 to 18 megs a second, 10 to 20 or so. We peak around there. 25, I don't know, somewhere like that, megs a second. And then it gets compressed before it goes out, so it gets way smaller.
Sweet.
So let's say, I'm a pretty smart dude, which I'm not. I was a Marine. And I wanted to get involved with some of this stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's really cool. This one website does all this stuff, but I think I would like to build this other app or website that does this thing. What would I have to do to start understanding or learning some of the SI? Like it's based off of REST, it's based off of XML. Like what does someone have to do, and then how would they get more involved in doing that?
So first, I would take whatever language you're comfortable in. Start looking for a Swagger client in that language. There's quite a few. You can go to, I think it's swagger.io, and then look at the open source integrations for your language. And then take a look at just the basic HTTP request and response, like how that all works and stuff. And if you run into any sort of problems, you want questions, you should definitely jump on the Tweetfleet Slack and go into the hashtag ESI channel. And people are super friendly and willing to help with lots of questions from beginner to advanced in there and in all sorts of languages. So, but yeah, just basically start with looking at Swagger and what it means in your language and start going from there. The other thing that that you might eventually run into is learning about OAuth and how that works in your language or your application, which again, there's lots of different libraries to help you deal with that.
Oh wow! And in chat, Cockroach just actually linked something that's looks like something internal to you guys, esi.tech.ccp.is, and it shows all the information about that. So that's pretty cool. I'll link that in the post show notes.
Yeah, that's the web front end to our Swagger document. So it kind of describes the endpoints, and it's an interactive front end, so you can actually test all these things. You can provide authentication to see if you can do the action behind the endpoint.
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now, and there's something that immediately pops up that says Dogma. What is that?
Those like attributes, like how things affect or like the effect system.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff on here, guys. There's alliance stuff, corporation stuff, character stuff, mail, routes, skills, wars, everything you need to know or want to put into your data, it is there.
There's currently 134 different endpoints.
Is that a lot? Seems like a lot.
I don't know. It's more than smaller numbers.
It's more than 100 because I can count.
Yeah, I mean, and that number's only going to go up. So, and make sure things that you do want to see, check out the Easy Issues repo on GitHub. We'd link it everywhere. It's linked in the channel and stuff. I'm sure we can provide a link somewhere in Twitch. But the Easy Issues repo is amazing. Look on there if you want things added. Just do a search, do them, see if there is an issue. If there is one, throw like a +1 thumbs up thing on it. If there's not, feel free to make an issue for it, requesting it, whether it's a new thing or moving something from XML that you're using currently. Like if there's one thing holding you back from your application moving completely off, let us know, and we'll see what we can do.
Very nice. It looks like Squiz apparently made it to the chat, and he might jump in if he can do that. What has he been making?
See Zed Gilbert guy.
Oh, Z Keyboard. Yeah, that's a lot. Seems like a lot of work. I don't know if I can do that kind of stuff. Okay, maybe not. Merdad, you got anything?
Oh, we had one more chat question here. Obviously, super relevant. The question was, in a Thunderdome fight, who is your money on, Fozzie or Larkin?
I'd go with Larkin.
Are there any rules on this? Like ship classes? Are we saying like?
No ship class was given.
I'm gonna back my boy CCP Larkin on this one.
I'm gonna go with Fozzie.
I was going with Larkin as well. I don't know.
Somebody's got to support Fozzie. It's got to be like a, you know how they do the on the 07 show they used to do the 1v1s or the guest PvP fights.
Yeah, the like fit in a minute or whatever.
Yeah, they got to do those with some devs. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure that would end well. Whoever self-destructs first.
Okay, I've said this once before. I've probably even said it twice, maybe 3 times before. This is the office that I'm in currently right now. That is a guest bed with just a blanket thrown on top of it and a bunch of pillows. I don't sleep there, guys. Calm down. I'm not going to make my bed judge. It's not even a real room. This is just a pretend. This is like a set. Think of it as a set. Hater.
Cockroach asks in a trolling manner, how long till the ESI is transitioned to Go?
I don't even know what that means.
Wait. There are a couple components in Go, which I'm sure he's aware of. The main router that dispatches requests, the first thing that touches your request is in Go. And the thing that does all of the replies, it's basically another request router. It's also in Go. So there's a little bit of Go there, but I kind of doubt that the endpoints will be switched, maybe, but probably not.
All right.
Well, that sounds all fine and dandy. So yeah, for those of you who aren't know, I'm pretty sure a good 85% of people in the chat room are from the Tweet Fleet. But if you're not, I believe you can go to, if you just search Google for Slack Tweet Fleet, there's actually a website where you can go to request access to that. You can go on there. There's all kinds of stuff. There's the Dev Fleet. There's specifically a channel for ESI. There's a channel for lore. There's a channel for capitals. There's a channel for wormholes. There's a channel for goons. There's a channel for not Eve. There's a channel for cooking. Whatever you want to do in your life, you can find it within the Tweet Fleet Slack server, and I recommend you get on that. You can actually find a lot of information on there. You can talk to a lot of CCP developers. You can talk to CSM peoples. You can even talk to me if I happen to pay attention and have it open. But probably not. Just get me on Twitter.
Barrel Slan Java asks, are there any plans for another API challenge?
I would super like to do one. I need to talk to CCP Siegel about that.
Sweet.
Oh, what is that? What's the API challenge?
Last year we ran a API challenge, third-party challenge that was just make a new app or addition a module to a new app kind of thing. There's some rules around like the license that it had to have and things like that. Submitted in, and then there was a contest. forget what the prizes were. I think it was a pile of Plex and some other skins or something like that.
Sweet. We're joined by Squiz.
I think he has his microphone muted.
Oh, tech support issues.
These are tech guys we're talking about. I think he has his microphone muted. Oh, there he is. Shh, I was talking about him. Hello, Squiz. Hello, Squiz.
All right, we'll give him another second. The judge, Eve, asks, are you going to leave the warm confines of your office to come to Iceland and talk ESI with the CSM in person?
Hopefully this is working.
It's working now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Squiz.
Hello, let's try this again.
Oh, hey. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have Squiz on here. And he does some things in EVE Online, which are pretty cool.
I think you may be having some technical difficulties.
Definitely.
Appears to be a bit of a delay.
Broke it.
Which area of the world are you in?
Yeah, some of that might be due to the fact that we have our server set to Eastern US, I believe. So maybe it's got a little bit of, I know I had that problem in Afghanistan, and if we didn't have it set to somewhere closer to me, I could definitely not get in talking with you guys.
So we're going to try Central Europe. See if that works.
Oh, no, he's in Michigan, so
Oh, well. Ugh.
rip. Maybe next time. Yeah.
That was weird.
So I think I now have a better understanding of what the ESI is and what it does and what it can do and what the potential is for it to do in the future. And it seems like a lot of individuals on the chat channel seem to know what you're talking about better than I do. So, hey, mission accomplished. Op success.
Yep. I'm glad that apparently people were entertained and informed, which is a rare commodity in the EVE world.
Especially on this show.
Especially.
Nice.
People hate me.
Oh, that's awesome. If you're not a programmer and you want like a first project to start programming against, and you play EVE Online, take a look at ESI. It's pretty easy to work with, and it's a good way to get started.
Cool, yeah. So, man, we really appreciate you coming on here and joining us. You know, at least you're not sitting there in Iceland and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for you, because that would suck. But hey, at least you're going to be sitting there in underwear, eating Cheetos on a beanbag.
I don't actually own a beanbag, but that's a good idea.
I wish I did. I want to get one of those big old love sacks, man. Those look so nice.
I want a standing desk for work.
I wish I could say that I'd want a standing desk for work, but I'm pretty much just standing all the time anyway, so moot point. But anyways, yeah, so thank you for coming and joining us. We're going to start rolling into our little wrap up. What we usually do at the end of our shows, we talk about maybe some sort of podcast or TV show or video game that we've been playing or listening to that we want to share with the universe and let everyone know, hey, you should listen to or watch this thing. So, Murdo, do you want to go first, man? If you have anything, I don't have anything.
I have been extra busy this week, but last night I got to watch the first 2 episodes of Bill Nye Saves the World. And it is a little bit cringy. The first episode, they definitely have to work out their new format, but it's a lot of good knowledge, and it's a little bit of pop science about misconceptions, especially when a scientific topic gets lost in the media and then becomes kind of spun out of control by advertisers and all that kind of jazz. So, yeah.
So is it a podcast you said, or a show?
Oh, it's a show on Netflix. And if it's on Netflix in Canada, it's definitely on Netflix in the States.
Well, I guess I was probably too busy watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 on Netflix. Do you like how I did that?
I don't think we get that one here.
If you can get it in America, I don't know.
You have a larger pool of subscribers, so you get more shows available to you.
I guess so, but I mean, it's got like, what's that chick's name? Felicia Day. Isn't she like Canadian or something?
She
I don't know.
might be.
But yeah, so I haven't really been listening to a whole lot of podcasts. Well, I have, but since I upped my listening speed to 2 times speed, or sometimes 2.2 times normal speed of average human listening consumption rate, I seem to be cranking my podcast into my brain at double the speed, and I ran out. I listened to all the podcasts.
All of them?
I literally, like, I got to a point, like, on Thursday where I was like, I just ran out of podcasts, and I had to start just listening to regular radio.
Hardcore history. We got to go deep into the hardcore history background.
Yeah,
That's a
Doing
good
some
show, if you haven't listened to it yet.
doing some hardcore podcasting, listening to. So what about you, Snowden?
Yeah, playing a lot of Zelda. New Factorio update comes out soon. It's another great game. Haven't really been watching much for shows.
Oh, now don't forget, Mario Kart 8 comes out on Friday.
8?
8? Yeah, I know, right? I remember Mario Kart 1.
8? What was 7? What was 6?
I don't know.
Yeah, one was really the best.
Was that on 64?
No, it's nice.
Yeah. Well, that was on Super Nintendo?
Oh, 64. That was classic. That was right in my
That was
wheelhouse.
classic. I found a store down the street that actually has GameCubes out there.
Are they holding up desks or?
No, they're like in a package, ready to be sold to unwitty customers. Anyway, so yeah, I don't really have anything else other than that, but I will say that I did set up the Fort Hood area meetup, and I've already had several people let me know that they're interested. So on the 13th of May, if you live in the Fort Hood greater area, that would include Colleen, Fort Hood proper, Coppers Cove, even if you want to go as far as Austin or maybe even Dallas. We had actually a player last year who was from Dallas area come down. So, I mean, that's like 2 hours. Not a big deal. But if you're interested and you want to come down, we're going to do that the 13th of May at the Bit Bar in Colleen, which is conveniently located right across the street from all the titty bars. So there's that.
Great. Well, if you tuned in late and you missed the first half of our show, we post this on our Twitch video on demand. We post it on our YouTube. If you'd like the audio format, you can pick us up on any of the podcast listening apps. You can search for us by name, Mindclash Podcast. You can search for the Crossing Zebras RSS or the Eve Podcasts RSS, and we're on both of those, as well as all of the other great Eve content that's out there in the internet world.
Yeah, you can literally get us on anything: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, Crossing Zebras. If you just want to look up the RSS feed, if you want to look at it on Libsyn, whatever app you might have, I guarantee you can find Mind Clash. Make sure it's 2 words, not 1, because that's silly. Also, hopefully, sometime in the future, mindclash.live will be posted up on the Eve fan sites. I've already put in 3 applications for that, but if I wasn't such a dick to CCP Ghost, I probably would have had our website on there by now. But you know how I am.
Unconfirmed.
Maybe. So
Uh,
anyways,
if you like chatting with us, please come and join us on our Discord. We don't ping too often. We have an interesting community of people. If you would like to just chat some Eve in your off hours, not with your corp or not with your alliance, just come hang out with us there. That's where we draw in a lot of our guests for the show. If you want to come on and talk about a topic that interests you or excites you, we're always looking for topics and guests.
yeah, and I'm actually trying to work up something to where we can have new players. I would like to have new players. So if you are a new player, you know a new player that could come on and talk about why they play Eve, why they're continuing to play Eve, or maybe someone who you knew play Eve but quit, and maybe they want to come on and talk about why it was they quit. But yeah, we're just going to want to pick some minds of some new people. Point them our way.
Great.
Perfect. So from CCP Snowden, from Merdud, and myself, Kale Decadence, this has been another wonderful episode of the Mind Clash podcast, and we thank you very much for coming on and listening to us talk about stuff. Nighty night.
Fly dangerous.